That's right, episode 9. We are cranking them and cranking them and cranking them. Welcome to today's episode. I am so hyped for this one, you have no idea. The oh no bros wanted a coaster, they got a coaster. This one is dedicated to them. We are still going to be doing viewer submitted names, so add this to your list. I hope you enjoy this one. It's a good one. Stay tuned. We're doing another wooden coaster, however, it's a little bit different than the first one. I do love my wooden coasters. This coaster theming will be all jungle. And we will be theming this out in this episode. We got a long one, but it's a good one. Our lift hill will be going into a first drop, and this drop is massive. And we've got our block section, already planning out the block sections, which is a step above what I normally do, which is build the coaster and then go back and add the blocks. And I don't know what happened with the camera, but we come back. Bring it back, bring it back. You're not going anywhere. First hill filled with lots of airtime. But it slows it down a little bit too much, so we wanna bring this coaster back down, this first hill. And we don't want to cut off too much speed. That's the problem we had, not enough speed, so we make the lift hill a little bit bigger drop. So now we're cutting off less speed, and we can add our block section down on the flat. And when we're doing these layouts, I definitely go through a few iterations before we have a final product. So you'll see me testing and experimenting with different things. Sometimes I do pre-made sections just to get an idea and then go back and add my own. It's different for every coaster. This coaster is completely custom. We use no pre-made features. And we use our 4-meter method with the 1-meter banking. This is a classic RC feature right here. We go with the little air hill into a banked turn. We are recording this early morning, so I got my coffee ready. If you're watching this, hope you got your coffee. Or tea, whatever we be drinking. So with this layout, I want something that is exciting. You cannot invert with this coaster, so I end up going with a bunch of big turns, big bank turns going into each other. And remember, she looks rough. My method of building coasters, they do look rough in the beginning, but when it all comes in the end with the smoothing and everything, it turns out really good. So just bear with me on this one. Trust my word that this one comes out sick. And the layout here I'm really happy with. What we end up getting going on. The theming on this coaster turns out really good, but we're not going to ruin it. And with these bank turns, you don't want to bank it too hard too fast. So that's basically what's going on right now, is I'm trying to get a nice even turn that is not too abrupt, not too crazy. And then we're going to be going back up and around. So also not too long of a coaster, this one, but definitely effective. Like I said in the beginning of this series, we're going to be working on how we build our coasters, making sure they are not too long, not too short, exciting, not taking up too much space. And I think we achieved that with this coaster. What we're doing here is we're trying to get a block section on the end. So when you're doing this, you want a block section on the end of the... This is the correct way to do a block section. On the part of the station coming in. And then you want to do a tire track. So when they are on the block section and they get released, they have the tire section to kind of bring them into the coast, into the station. And we begin smoothing out this thing. But with that end, we end up making it a little bit nicer. Right now it's a little wonky. We want a block section, run 2 cars on this thing, or should I say 2 trains. And we achieve it. But the whole thing's going to need some smoothing, so bear with me as we go through and smooth the whole thing. This section I have planned out is going to be basically a level up from the family section. This one will have a little bit more exciting thrill rides, a little bit more exciting flat rides, coasters, go-kart track, and we'll be doing some flumes. So big mix of everything like in the first one, but just a level up. And you can see, I'm not going to ruin it. You can see the go-kart track in the back. I did do a little movie magic here, so you can see it, but that'll be the next episode coming out. We'll be working on that go-kart track back there. So you will see how we end up theming this thing. Like I said, mountain coaster through the jungle. And I hope if you get anything out of this video, it's entertainment. Maybe you learn something about how I theme out these rides. Because it's one thing to build this coaster and, have it a good layout, smooth track. But if it's got not great theming or scenery, then, it's got to be a whole package. So here we want it a little bit straighter than what it is. So we're going to basically test the block section. We go with 3 in the beginning, but we realize that doesn't work. We can only run 2. I try to make it work with 3, but remember, I'm not the best at block sections, so still learning. But I am able to get at least 2 trains running without stopping. And I believe we achieved that right here. Let's see what we do. I kind of forget. So we take out the block section, I believe, here. Yeah, we take out the blocks. No, we leave it. We add a third one. Yep, so we add a third block, I think, in that sort of down slope. Great numbers on this coaster. We're rocking over 7 on the excitement, under 5 on the fear, and under 3 on the nausea. So that's a perfect score. All green, baby. And like I said, we're trying to just add some friction brakes so we're not flying into the station, but also so that it is straight too on these last sections. And for some reason, it's not working, but we figure out the workaround. We delete one piece, go to the end of the block section on the station, and then add the trim, and then bring it all together. And here we are, just smoothing out this turn and kind of going out of my rule of smoothing 3 at a time, just because like I have said in the past, if you smooth more than 3 sections at once, it'll change the turn, but I kind of wanted it to do that on that one. So we select a big portion of the turn to try and smooth it out as one. We will give a ride preview towards the end in real time. So do not worry about these little testers that I do. And remember, if you'd like to name this park, I always say that. If you want to name this ride, be sure to leave a comment down below and we'll comment and vote on the best name that we think is best. And if you win, we'll put a sign up with your coaster name and your YouTube username. So we built a good layout, but now comes the fun part. The theming. And in the first coaster video, I mentioned bringing the terrain to the track. And you'll see that that is exactly what we do here. This coaster is a big example and representation of how I build my coasters and theme them. Pulling out the terrain and just building a natural environment instead of just a flat area that we built a coaster on. And sometimes I'll just cover up the whole track and tunnel it out later. But for the most part, we're going, you know, rock formations, mini mountains. And what we end up getting in the finished product here, I'm super happy with. I think you guys will like it too. One thing with those support columns that stick out, you know, I always try to hide them when I can. I think I end up just taking the supports off. We'll end up seeing what I do, but obviously you don't want that just sticking through. And we'll be tunneling out everything that we covered up, making it look real nice. And another important thing is creating sort of these flat sections on the outside of the coaster to put scenery. So you'll see me doing that a lot. Creating these flat mountainous sections on the outside of the coaster. I try to flatten terrain, but it doesn't work, and I just go back to what I know best. This is our first real coaster building video, so I hope you guys enjoy this. Like I said before, it gives a good representation of my work, what I like to do, and the habits that I have. So any comments about how I can be better or what you think, anything really, just comment them down below. Just making these natural rock formations. We want to put lots of trees and bushes on the outside of this coaster, so if there's no landscape to put it on, then it will not look good. So that's what we're doing. And we are sort of thinking about what we want for features, you know, memorable features of this coaster. And I gave a hint a few episodes ago of one of my favorite features of building coasters, and that's whipping around trees. So you're gonna see a few moments of that in this coaster. Here I get the idea. We're gonna do a waterfall feature right in that section. You can probably already see it now. Kind of just planning it out. And you know, you want some memorable features of the coaster, just so when you're going through it, people are like, whoa, that's the one where you fly past the waterfall. We're looking good here. Just gonna add a little bit more terrain. And finish out this last section. And then the lift hill. What do we do about the lift hill? So we run through this thing just to make sure the terrain's looking good. And to me, it's looking great. So now we get to how we want to incorporate the lift hill. And my solution? Giant rocks, baby. We go 300% on these mamma jammas. And this update with the scaling of the rocks really is sick for Planet Coaster 2. It adds so much to how you place them and how it looks. So we go around, we add a few more into the ground just to incorporate some variation into the scenery. And we use the same rock, but if you're smart about it, it can work out. That's looking sick. Adding a little bit of smaller rocks just to fill it in. And we go in with our scenery brush, my favorite part. This one's right on the edge of the park limits, so we do our best fitting in everything so we don't feel empty, and I think it comes out really good. I start to put bushes in that area, and I remember that we want to do a waterfall, so remember, like I said, best method with the scenery brush is just fill it all out, come back, delete what you don't want. And these trees do so much for the details. I love it. So just moving some bushes, small plants out of the way. It's looking good. We want to blend in these rocks. And then come in with our big trees. Man, I wish Planet Coaster 1 was this easy to put the scenery in. And the scaling of the trees I love. Look at that classic RC. Whipping around the trees. Just going through, making sure the trees are not in the track like that. Trying to select the tree. And then we're going to go through with our terrain brush. Paint what we want as rock. We're using the rough rock setting. Be sure to leave some green in there for some variation. And that really helps blend in the rocks. So we're just gonna finish that up there. And just giving a once over to everything. We might add the waterfall in this episode. It might be the next one. I don't remember, but you know, we've left a perfect section for it right there. Just filling in the rest of our trees and bushes. And we will be doing a real-time preview of the ride. And also, if you are interested in naming this ride, be sure to drop a comment. I think I will leave you guys with the preview with no commentary, just some ambiance and aesthetics. So, it's RC, it's your boy RC with another one. Be sure to catch me on the next one. Like, comment, juice the algo, tickle the post. Love y'all. Peace out.